So I would probably say the past few months has been chaos, madness, but it's definitely been a cool thing to see how God has worked over the past several years and aligned everything for this point. Me and you, we started out, 8 years now? 8 years of marriage, yeah. 8 years ago, coming into life together as a married couple, not knowing what we was getting into.
Not at all.
It was a journey, but our thing from the very beginning was making sure that we were going to live a life that was all about Jesus. And as hard as it was at times, it's been a roller coaster, but it's been a beautiful journey, I'd say. Kids, three of them. We got 3 kids, 3 beautiful kids, and so going from me working in the mill full time and then leaving the mill and going into full-time ministry and raising kids as a full-time student pastor, it was different, but I enjoyed it. I loved it. North Point, love North Point, right? Was at North Point even before I was a student pastor there, and so getting the opportunity to be a student pastor there and just minister in this community through sports with the high school at Gaffney, and then also with our students in this community, it was awesome. I think life was pretty good at that time. It was great. Did we have 2 kids then? Was it like when we got ready to leave? Drake was just born, right?
Yeah, he was 4 months old.
Yeah, so those 2 years was great, but then we began to feel the call of the Lord for us to actually leave home. That was easy, right?
That was not easy.
It was probably the hardest thing we both done in our life was leave Gaffney and then move to Easley, South Carolina, where we came on staff at 5 Point Church. One thing I'll give you credit for is you've always, followed behind me, and you've always, supported us. And so for us to go to 5 Point and go to Easley and leave Gaffney when everything was great, it was a tough decision. But looking back at it, it was definitely a great decision.
Yeah, that was a blessing.
Us growing together as a family, 2 kids, and then we add a 3rd one to the mix, Houston. Crazy, but we left our home here of 10 years that we had shared together, made memories together, and then we packed up and moved to Easley and started a new chapter. And so for us, I know it stretched me.
Yeah.
Stretched you a little bit?
We grew.
Yeah, we definitely grew as a family, and just got to see a lot of different things. And I'm grateful for 5 Point. They gave us a great opportunity to come in, and little did we know that 2 years into it, God would change our direction once again. I think that you're pretty excited as we prayed a lot. Really trying to make sure this was the right decision. Would you tell me? You said no matter what it is, whether we truly want to do it or not, we want to make sure that
We follow the Lord, and that's what He has planned for us in our family.
Yeah. So we definitely felt the Lord calling us to move back to Gaffney, back home. And so as we moved back home here to Gaffney, South Carolina, the whole purpose behind that was to plant a church, right? Plant a church. Who would ever thought you'd be not just a student pastor's wife, but a senior pastor's wife?
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy, but even through that praying and knowing that was God's will in our life, we knew that it was going to be tough, and we knew that there were going to be a lot of challenges that came with that. And so as we moved back to Gaffney, we moved in with family. We didn't have a house yet. That was fun, living out of boxes and just trying to navigate through that with 3 kids. But we had a home picked out that was actually being renovated, and so it was going to be a while before it was finished, but we had definitely already started the course of action of planning that to be our future home. And it was just kind of crazy to see how God aligned things after a month of being back almost. Not only did He give me a job to be able to work full-time with FCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and do something I'm passionate about, but He also opened another door, crazy door. What was that?
To move back to our old house that we came from.
The house we lived in for 10 years, my buddy who lived in it, they had actually went to a house that they loved so much and asked the people if they would be interested in selling it. And they signed a contract on it and bought it. So we had the opportunity to not only come back to Gaffney and plant a church, but to actually move back into the house we had so many memories in. Yeah. And so it was just crazy how, that 2 years of being in Easley, God grew us and used us and just allowed us to grow not only in ministry but as a family. And as we come back to Gaffney thinking we're buying a new house, we were put right back where we were.
Yeah.
What Penelope do? That was a pretty cool twist of the story.
Penelope would pray every day that we would get to move back to our old house. So
Yeah.
her prayer came true.
The prayer was answered. So we moved back into our old house and we get settled in. Being in Gaffney only a few months, I'm rocking and rolling with FCA. First Baptist Church downtown in Gaffney presented us with an awesome opportunity to be able to meet in their bank building for church. So we started gathering with Rock Solid Community Church, that's what we called it. And so we started gathering for several weeks in the bank building on Sunday afternoons. And so we just began to form a group and just praying and asking God to open doors for us to be able to find a home, I guess, for our church. Yeah, so as we began to pray, months and months in the works of a certain place and praying and talking kind of began to come together. And so we sit here today and we're in this building that's, in the process of being worked on and painted and renovated, but it's just so crazy to see how God took us on this journey of life, marriage, kids, ministry, in our hometown, took us to Easley, South Carolina, a place we'd never been and didn't know, and then brought us back to plant this church, gave us our old house back, and now the coolest thing about all of it is our future home for Rock Solid Outdoors is within 100 yards of our house. And I just think that is God in the works, and it's also God being faithful when we've been faithful.
Yep.
I'm excited about this new journey. I'm excited about this new chapter. One thing God has taught me through it all is faithfulness, patience, and obedience. And those are just a few things, and I'm excited of what He's going to do in the future. So, I don't know. Here we are. So here's to another chapter of life, right?
Yeah.
Rock Solid Community Church, coming soon.